So, Division Agents, I'm sure some of you have seen this game coming out called Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. It's a shooter, but don't worry, I'm not here to tell you to play it because I know Division Agents, the moment they see any other game, they start reciting their favorite letters of the alphabet. GTFO. No, today's video I want to talk about The Division. I wanted to talk about what we learned just recently because it seems to me that The Division is a much more influential game than we actually think, and at the same time how Ubisoft seems to be abandoning its golden boy in a sense. Now, this is a game that is appreciated by those who've been playing it for a very long time. There are, however, strands across the market on how there are so many wannabe copycats of this particular game. It's not even funny. In fact, this Suicide Squad game that I just pointed out to you, I've been making videos on it on my other channel, VG Fight School. You can check it out. And a lot of people are not even in the frame of mind to understand exactly what it is that Warner Brothers made Rocksteady do. So basically, on seeing The Division's success, there was a news article where a Warner Brothers executive came out and said that they wanted to move their games to live service games in order for them to be able to do it just like Ubisoft has to leverage what Ubisoft is pretty much able to get from it. And no doubt that person took charge of the reins of Warner Brothers Video Games Development Studios around the 2015-2016 time, which was actually when The Division actually came out. So this person saw that success. Remember, guys, The Division 1 was Ubisoft's fastest selling game. They saw the way the game ran very well. They went ahead and made a Division 2. And since then, we've been seeing The Division copycats, even to the point where they're trying to force superhero games into this genre. Now, this is not to say that, The Division has the best, execution or whatever. This is just to say that if The Division itself is going through, a place where it's influencing other games, if people from other development studios and publishers are looking at what The Division has done and wanting to leverage its player base, then why is Ubisoft, in a sense, wanting to put The Division on the back burner overall? Why has it been that there have been, no content or content droughts for all this while? And the thing is, a lot of these other companies are not necessarily even succeeding as much. I mean, I'm pointing out to this new game, but there have been other iterations like Outriders. Many of you remember that when Outriders was probably, in its marketing phase, there were comments, statements, mentions of specific mechanics that seemed to be digs at The Division when that game was marketing itself, saying things like, oh, you don't have to play for 500 hours to get a specific item. All you have to do is do this. And the game is going to, they just made some digs at The Division in their marketing to show how their game was, in a sense, distinct and unique from The Division itself. But at the end of the day, they were still gunning for the Division audience. And most of the people who played Outriders were the Division and Destiny players overall because they knew what they were going into. They knew it was going to have RPG elements and so on and so forth. And here we are with a superhero game wanting to do something similar, because some people might say, well, that game is a superhero game. It seems like it followed another game that tried to do something similar like Avengers, but that's not true. Avengers is not a shooter. Suicide Squad is a third-person shooter. The game, yes, I know some of you might say, well, but does a game not play like Fortnite? Like, what are you talking about? Yes, it has those elements where people are jumping all over the place, but still, when you look at what the developers were saying about their game, you got to see some interesting mechanics that they were trying to throw in there. They were throwing gear and gear score, literally gear score. They were talking about gear sets. They were talking about weapon customization in the way they were actually pulling off this entire RPG-esque third-person shooter, but using their DC brands to, maybe get some name recognition and getting all that stuff in place. Whereas in The Division, this is stuff that we've been doing all day. And Ubisoft Massive has the knowledge base. Ubisoft as a whole, as a publisher, has the capability to get it done. But what we're hearing and what we're seeing is, maybe we're going to be getting Heartland, which seems to be like it's going to be a free-to-play game, which I don't necessarily know if that's going to be a good platform to try to bring a lot of these in-depth mechanics that make The Division actually unique and special and allows for it to rise above all of the others. If you guys, know, or if you've noticed, The Division sure is, in a sense, these other games are trying to copy The Division, but the reason they're not going to necessarily lift off the ground is because they don't necessarily have the sauce that the Division has. The gear game in the Division is deep. If you jump in, you're in it for a long haul. The, player mechanics are insane. The AI are intuitive. These are things that make the Division stand out. Everybody that tries to make some sort of a close photocopy is only making a photocopy. Unless they're willing to invest the money, they're not going to be able to attain the same result. Whereas Ubisoft is sitting on top of all of this, and we're not seeing much come from them. It's quite shocking, to be very honest. I wanted to go ahead and make this video and just tell the Division audience about what we're seeing across the industry and how, it appears to me that there doesn't seem to be much interest across their Ubisoft publications and stuff. And I know some of you have been saying, well, Ubisoft doesn't seem like they're going to pursue this, but man, it is such a missed opportunity. You guys have no idea. Maybe you do. I'm sure you do. I shouldn't say that. I mean, you guys see it across the board, but man, I don't think the company itself is paying very close attention as to what is going to be very monetizable for them in the long run. Because yes, your money that you spent in the Division compared to the playtime that you've gotten overall, I mean, it's a solid, investment to return type, I would say transaction at the end of the day. I mean, you paid what? Maybe if you paid $300 overall for everything you've done in Division, which few people have paid that much that I know, and you've gotten anywhere from 1,000 to, even 3, 4, 5,000 hours, you've basically gotten your money's worth back. So I guess we'll see how these other games do. We'll see how Suicide Squad does. I'm going to be playing it, but to be honest, the Division still kind of, is the boss in terms of how you deal with stuff like that. I know Destiny players might say things otherwise, but hey, I've seen other Destiny players fawn at our mechanics too. So as much as people might say things about Destiny, I think the Division has a little bit more in terms of depth that Destiny does not even come close to. But by and large, I want to hear your thoughts in the comment section. What do you think about all of this? Why is the industry wanting to copy this 2016 Enigma? And do you think it's something to do with the fact that it was quite successful? Talk to me in the comment section, and hopefully we'll talk pretty soon in another one. Thanks for watching. Peace out.